So how does an auto detailer detail their own dang interior? I thought about a really basic video where I just showed you a rag, some interior clean and protect, or some rinseless wash, and we went to town, and I was like, no, I don't do things halfway. I like to go to Hammer Town. Now, the asphalt outside of my apartment is crazy hot, so I'm gonna be wearing my sun hat, I'm gonna be putting my headphones on, because I am going to town on this 8-year-old Subaru. We're gonna use a compressor, blowing the car out. We're gonna use this vacuum. I love my cordless vacuum. You can do this if you have an apartment, folks. It's not that hard. The only thing is, yeah, I've got my compressor hooked up to the apartment. Yeah, I'm using air. I'm not just using a leaf blower, but you could do that too. I've got my Bissell Spot Clean Pro extractor. So yeah, I'm gonna extract these seats and carpets. This is a winter prep detail. It took a while to set this up. This is not gonna take me 5 minutes, but I wanna inspire you. If you clean your car, you're gonna feel better. We've got NCAP Clean Punch. It's a carpet cleaning product that isn't sold by the House of Rags. I'm sorry, Jamie and Eddie, I gotta keep it a buck with the people. If I'm using an extractor, I'm gonna hang out in the janitorial world. I've got my keg sprayer so I can spray rinseless on the rubber mats and I won't need a hose. I've got a drill brush. Folks, I'm gonna take you to Detail Town. I'm not looking forward to this. It's hot. My car is a little messy. Let me show you inside and just give you some flavor, and then I'm gonna get to work and do a voiceover of how we get this done.
So there's lots of layers to this interior. There's layers of dust, and that looks like it's pretty superficial, but we're talking about an 8-year-old vehicle, so there's a lot of scuffs and scratches you can see there that we're not gonna be able to clean away. But upholstery seats, this is where this process I'm gonna show you shines. See those dark marks? Little like white mark there on the seat. There are just a lot of surface level grime. You can see it on the leather bolster there, it's kind of shiny. Yeah, there's a lot to work with. So we're gonna use Interior Clean and Protect on leather. We're gonna use NCAP Punch on carpets and upholstery. I have 2 kids, 180,000 miles on the Subaru Legacy. It's been on the channel before, but there's just stuff that you can see right there in the middle area, just chunked on, who knows what that is. There's a lot of mysteries here. The last time this got a deep clean, it's been getting a lot of surface level cleans, but a deep clean with extraction, I don't know, years? Because I haven't had an extractor for years. The Bissell Spot Clean Pro's been sitting in storage for about 3 years. I think I've used it once. So, you know, the leather, you know, the dashboard, this stuff just looks kind of dusty because I've actually cleaned it. But let's take a look at these floor mats in the back where my kids sit. It ain't pretty, folks. And the carpet, it's just embedded stuff, hair and all kinds of stuff. Then you can see, you know, this is, it doesn't look like much, but it's not a disaster detail, folks. But there's a lot to contend with. So first step, we just got to take these rubber floor mats out, right? That's pretty common sense. You try to fold them up so you don't drop much, you know, on the way out of the car. And it's always a good idea to have like a garbage bag or a bag where you're going to put belongings if you're detailing someone else's car. So if you find valuables, put them in a bag. It's also nice to have a garbage can next to you. Dropping it on the ground is probably closer to littering than it would be detailing, since I'm not in a garage, so I'll have to pick that up later. But we're just getting these floor mats out, and you're gonna see, you know, with the kids in the back, little kids, there's just cheddar bunnies or whatever under there, goldfish. There's a lot to contend with. I'm giving you this little sneak preview, but the cloth upholstery, the carpets, that's where I spend the bulk of my time on this detail, and you're going to see why. So after removing all the loose chunks, the big stuff from the vehicle, now it's time to use compressed air. And I've got the Tornador gun here. You could use any kind of air gun attachment, but you really want to leverage air. Now, one thing Ivan told me, and I used to kind of just go wherever I felt like, is he likes to go back to front. So that makes logical sense to me, right? You just blow everything from the back to the front, and then you can kind of vacuum it up from there. And so you don't have to keep going back to certain areas. I used to just use the air compressor in one quartile of the car and then kind of be done, and then blow it around the next quartile, and then it went back to the one I'd been in. So now it's kind of like, let me just use air, try to get it blown out, and then let me vacuum up what I have left over, right? Because I just don't want to deal with that later. And I'm also kind of just testing these carpets out. I don't love this vacuum attachment. I got it from a friend. I kind of like the Furriel vacuum attachment. But I accidentally stepped on it, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work well. So I tried this one today. Not my favorite, but again, look at these carpets. And I actually did a little math. I'm like, what is a 2017 Subaru Legacy? How do I explain it to people, like how nasty these carpets are? It's not like a brand new car that I just got dirty and we're just dealing with like some soil on the carpet fibers. No, this is about 8,000 days old. So 8,000 potential days of wear and tear. you're just seeing some of the darkness on the corner there of the rear seat. I mean, that's going to come out, I think, with the shampoo. But there's just a lot of embedded stuff. So I'm yakking away. The most important thing to know is, if you have the time, get an air compressor. Like, you know, I think there's a couple $100 off Amazon. You get an airline and a Tornador, and you can use this for all kinds of stuff. You'll never regret it once you have it. I know not everyone, it's a DIY detail shirt I'm wearing. I know that's the brand I represent, but having an air compressor for your detailer makes a huge difference. Like, how else would you get all this stuff out? And am I embarrassed that the car's this dirty? No, not really. I mean, again, 8,000 days old. I take decent care of it, but I haven't done like a deep dive clean. And at this point, I'm just like, I don't want to breathe all this crap in, you know? Like, here we come winter, and all this dust and debris is just going to get mopped into mud. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'll spoil it a little bit. This front driver's quartile, this carpet, it didn't really come out the way I wanted to. I did a lot, but there's only so much you can do. If I had, you know, my $1,500 extractor, maybe a couple other chemicals, some things could have happened. But anyway, I'm just showing you really how we go about. And look at all the dust still flying from this carpet. I mean, I just don't want to be breathing this stuff in. So I'm doing the best that I can, folks. And I'm feeling there along the side. I just feel the ice melt and the degraded carpet. And I know it's going to be tricky. But look, it's just another cloud of dust. It's like, it's wild. Where does it end, right? So, you know, this cheap extractor that I'm going to show you that we use, it gets some of this, but it just felt like there was embedded dust in there for days. And that's the reality of an 8,000 day old car. So it's a little bit of the Tornador, it's a little bit of the vacuuming, and it's back and forth, just trying to get it done as much as I can. I know it's all floating in the air. I'm like, let me just try to snag what I can so I'm not just blowing dust clouds around. I didn't worry about the floor pedals, you know, making them super clean. I'm just trying, oh my gosh, look at all this, it's crazy. And then the stuff that I can't get out, I'm using the drill brush to kind of agitate in. But you see what we're working with here. I'm doing the best I can, and it's also for me, not for a customer. So, you know, maybe I spend another 4 hours on this, you know, if it were a customer's car, versus at some point I'm just like, dude, I'm tired. It's hot outside. We got most of the crud out. Okay, so end cap clean, DS2, end cap punch, whatever this thing is called. I'm using it on the seats, kind of soppy and wet. This is the bonnet method. If you want to learn more about this, I have a whole video on the bonnet method, no extractor method, on my other YouTube channel, Hawk Pro Detailing, but I am gonna use an extractor here, so I just have this fancy little mitt. It gets really wet, and then you see the dirt kind of come up as it wicks, and I'm gonna hit it with a microfiber towel in a little bit to mop some of that down, then I'm gonna extract. You can kind of see how white it is up here on the carpet. Ideally, there's no more dry particulates. I'm a little sloppy here, but just trying to remove any soil from the carpet fibers. Hopefully there's no dry particulates that I'm making into mud right now. The jobber towel is cool because it's got this microfiber nap. So I could actually use this as a vacuum, because microfiber is so good at picking stuff up if I'm a little sloppy with the vacuum pass. I'm gonna get a wet butt here, but I'm just gonna pick up some of these like things that I should have vacuumed up earlier. I can kind of nab them with this towel and just shake it out. But where this gets brown, I'll just drive it a little bit more. This will be my second redundant agitation stage. And then I'll come in with the extractor with end cap punch in it and go from there. So just mopping up with the jobber towel, some of this soiling is going to wick to the surface. The longer you let these end cap punch or end cap clean DS2 products just kind of sit there, the better it is. So you do want to agitate them in originally and then just give them plenty of dwell time, and you're going to see that brown come up. Don't freak out, and don't even need to do that right away. Give it some time, let it work. and often without an extractor, you're just good to go. But I just wanted to really extract these because I know it's going to be a long time before I clean these deeply again. The process worked beautifully on the seats. On the carpet, again, this driver's side carpet has just seen so many footsteps over so many thousands of days, dragging in so much crud, from ice melt to snow to dirt to you name it. I'm doing my best here. I'm using the bonnet method on the carpet. It's not my favorite. And then it was so wet in there and so embedded with crap. I'm like, let me hit it with the air compressor. I'm just blowing up clouds of end cap and dirt, and I don't know. I felt very humbled by this. Again, I'll just tell you, it didn't end super well in this area, but I did my best, and I know I cleaned out a bunch of crap from there, and we'll just put it that way. So I'm mopping it up as I go. I'm trying to reduce how wet it is, right? Any moisture you bring into a car, you got to get out. If you have those fancy air movers, they're at least $100 each. You can daisy chain them and put them on every seat and every carpet, and you can really dry a car fast. But I'm like, hey, it's a hot day. Let's try to leverage that. So let's just go crazy with all the moisture we're introducing. This, Bissell Spot Clean Pro does a halfway decent job. I've got end cap punch in here because DS2, the red kind, foams up too much for an extractor. So I use DS2 punch, this green stuff, because it's meant to be extractor friendly. It's never been my favorite end cap product, but I don't happen to have any of my other products with me because I don't do a lot of interiors anymore, and this happens to be what I had. So I'm like, let me give it a shot. Again, it works pretty darn good on the seats, and I know we got results here in the carpet, but does it look perfect at the end? I don't know, you're gonna see.
Now the benefit of this being an incredibly hot day is we just introduced a lot of moisture. So I'm gonna try to do as much drying as I can. I don't have any fancy air movers. That was the previous generation of my life when I had a shop. But you see how dirty this is so far? That's nasty, that's dirty. I'm doing this for the cleanliness of my breathing. I want a cleaner interior here. I'm not necessarily going after perfection. We've got direct sunlight here, so we're just gonna let this bake in the sun. I'm gonna try to extract manually as much as I can with just a dry shop towel. And then we're just gonna give this a couple hours in the sun to just let it air dry. Because it's an end cap solution, it shouldn't wick back. But because it's a crappy extractor, I did introduce a lot of product, hoping that I would obviously be sucking up some of it, but knowing it won't come all out, and knowing that I'm gonna have to do a lot of manual drying and cleaning along the way. But I just want to get in all these nooks and all these crannies. I want shampooed carpet before winter, guys. And the cool thing about the end cap products is they do offer a little coating of the carpet fiber, so they actually protect as well at the same time. So I'm just gonna hand dry the rest of this and then let Mother Nature do the rest. Okay guys, so that was the most labor intensive part. I went inside, got some water. It's hot out here. Right now it's gonna be running gun style. I'm gonna clean the floor mats. I just wanna give all these carpeted areas lots of time to dry. These side areas have dried up nicely. Now I'm gonna do interior clean and protect, air compressor, spray on, blow off. Let's get her done. Let's get out of here. I got places to be and videos to edit, so watch and learn.
All right, folks, can you feel it? We are almost done. I'm spraying interior clean and protect onto the jobber towel there. The one thing I will say, the jobber towel is a great towel, but under the power of the air compressor, the Tornador, it did kind of break up a little bit, so I wouldn't use it for this again, but I just use the jobber so much that I love it. But yeah, I'm using it over air vents, so I spray a lot of interior clean and protect into the jobber and then spray into air vents. Interior clean and protect, you usually don't spray on surfaces, but when it comes to cup holders, that's something that I would highly recommend. And then you can just spray into your interior clean and protect dampened towel. And again, I think I was abusing this towel a little bit too much because some strands came off. Doesn't mean it's not a great towel. Just don't spray, a lot of pressurized air into it necessarily for interiors. I've done it many times with these towels, but maybe this was just it's final straw. So I still love the jobber towel. It works just fine. You know, I'm not worried about the little strands, but you know, we did lose a few good strands along the way. But yeah, that's how we do these cup holders as well. And because I use the air compressor, it got into all those little seams that were really dirty earlier. And the parking brake, watch this, I just totally clobbered it and it's now gone, that little silver part. So 8 years later, 8,000 days later, and it was finally ready to go. So if this was a customer's car, that would be totally inexcusable. Don't do what I did. Maybe put your compressor a little further away from delicate tools. Am I a hack, or was it just its time? You know, it's just hard to tell sometimes. But yeah, don't use an APC on steering wheels, guys. Use interior clean and protect. Use rinseless wash. Again, my interior clean and protect dampen towel here is doing a great job. I'm getting in between nooks and crannies. I'm getting between the steering wheel, you know, and the other columns. That, you know, I'm using interior clean and protect, buffing it with a dry side, and you can even do glass. You can do your navigation screen. You can do your leather, vinyl. Great product, smells nice, leaves a nice little sheen. And look, that little crusty stuff on the center console there came right off. So interior clean and protect, a lot of people think it's this really great protectant with a lot of, you know, it is a great cleaner. It's anti-static. It leaves a little bit of protection behind. Super versatile product. I still have to blow out these. I got everything way too wet, guys. I knew better, and I shouldn't have gotten the carpets so wet. It was great on the upholstery. The carpets, not so much. Hey, so we're doing the driver's side again. I'm just trying to like vacuum out some of this moisture, thinking that's going to save the day. You know, the more I think about this, because it's really been sitting with me as I'm doing this voiceover, thinking about the detail, the carpets were kind of screwed from the beginning. But the only way I really do this is with a lot of PSI, a really heavy duty industrial extractor where I can really just pull a lot of that stuff, even if it's wet, just pull it out with the vacuum, pushing it in with the stream of you know, solution, and then pulling it out with a lot of aggressivity. It just didn't happen with this Bissell, so I just left a ton in the carpets and it wicked back nasty. The truth is, it was gonna be nasty either way. It was nasty when it started. It's a lot cleaner now. Okay, I've got rinseless wash in my keg sprayer. Don't need a pressure washer for this, just using the rinseless to emulsify things. And then we're gonna let that dwell, hopefully not dry in direct sunlight, right? And then I'll use my Tornador with the compressed air, and that's gonna get about 80% of it off. And if there's anything that I don't get with this, I will use agitation. You know, I'll use my jobber towel. And what I've got in this bottle, it looks like interior clean and protect, but I actually cut our tire dressing, tire lotion 1-to-1. So I did half the bottle with water and then half with tire lotion. And I just sprayed it on these floor mats. It didn't smell like tire lotion in the car. It didn't leave a sheen behind. And that's what I'm spraying on here. And I'm actually using it to maybe clean a little bit, but it's just leaving really nice, totally matte floor mats. So 1-to-1 with tire dressing. You're not even really going to see it get super dark. It's just a really nice, low-key way to kind of protect and do a final clean on these floor mats. So really pleased with this process. And again, not needing a hose, not needing a steamer to dial in floor mats feels fantastic. What doesn't feel fantastic is this asphalt blasting sun onto my face. What a wild mobile detail this was in my own driveway. But the mats look great.
Okay, a little bit of rinseless wash here on the door jambs. That could be a little sloppy, but the kind of the plastics, do a final wipe here. It's just rinseless. If I get a little overspray, maybe I'll learn a lesson. I won't use the sprayer, but we'll just do one last thing. And then a little bit of C6 mist, a couple sprays, kind of a 2-in-1 deal. I didn't even pre-spray that. It's an 8-year-old car. It's hot, and I'm running a little behind. But I can get these interior plastics. Maybe I missed cleaning them the first time. Mist will be a nice dressing for them too. Kind of a two-way product. That's it, I can just hit this one more time, make sure I got these plastics, the lowers here. Make sure I got that. Yeah, kind of an off-label use, right? C6 mist on your plastics. Make sure I finished off that cup holder there. Yeah, this is pretty much all just damage. Can't clean that away. Clean door jambs are gonna make you feel so much better when you get inside your ride. And you can't forget the driver's side, folks. Come on now. All right, final vacuum, windows, and we're out of here. Okay, let's see, what do we pull out in the dirty water department? Pretty nasty, right? So we pulled out some gunk. From the carpets, yeah? So that's why extraction can be really good, is that's no longer in my car. So there you go. Then a real quick demo on glass and I'll get out of here. You can see some of these smudge marks. So I like to take Nick's favorite glass towel and number of sprays there with crystal clear glass cleaner. All you detailers out there can find these products on thehouseofrags.com. Use promo code Nick at Night. I play a very physical style of detailing. I always leave completely exhausted, and even with this goofy hat, I'm struggling a little bit. So, hey, I leave it all out on the field. There was some wick back on these carpets. To be honest with you guys, I miss my big boy extractor. I'm not fully pleased with these results. I'm just gonna make sure that plastic is also fully clean. And there you go. Box the glass, then get the inside, then hit it with the dry side of Nick's favorite glass towel. Box again. Go ahead and fill it in. Bada bing, bada boom. Don't forget this corner. Bada bing, bada boom. Love it. You know, it's always helpful if you're doing interior glass if you actually have it outside cleaned. So I wouldn't recommend this method. But if you're meticulous, if you box your entire section and then you go to a clean and dry side, it's a pretty foolproof method with crystal clear or rinseless wash and Nick's favorite glass towel. Boom, boom, boom. It's funny, I'm not completely satisfied with this interior. I probably could have spent another hour kind of dialing it in, so to speak, but I ran out of time. And the reality is, that's where detailing really shines, is that final 15 to 20%. I mean, as the customer, I'm totally satisfied. But if this were a pro detail, I would probably finesse it just a little bit more than this on the carpets. Maybe a little end cap clean DS2 on a dry rag to mop up a little wicking. Maybe one more final vacuum. But truthfully, guys, I'm happy with this. Again, I'm not happy with the wick back there. That would have taken a lot more work. I don't love that result. So carpet cleaning, it takes a long time, right? You have to repeatedly go back and deal with wick back. But other than that, when we look at, you know, these seats, again, I just need to do that one more like microfiber pass there. Probably a dry microfiber pass, just to make sure we just get a little bit of that browning left. And I've done that in the previous video. So one more end cap pass, you know, a little end cap clean DS2 on a dry rag. That'll get that surface wick back. But again, I'm tired, I can barely talk. The truth is, who's the customer here, right? I'm the customer. Am I happy? Totally. There's a gouge in that leather, as you can see. But I've got clean extracted carpets. It looks nice. I know it's been deeply cleaned. My kids are coming back in here. Could I have done a slightly better job? Yeah, but here we are, guys. I could have dressed up that interior with maybe some Detail Co. I think they have a leather conditioner like Sword. So that's in the mail, so I can't wait to use that. 8 years old, I'm happy. This is my view when I sit in the cockpit. This is the real world. When you look at a car like this, you're not gonna be like, oh, I see a little dirt speck here, a dirt speck there. You're gonna be like, dang, it feels nice to be in a clean car. There it is, folks. Subscribe to the House of Rags YouTube channel. Leave a comment if you think this little babushka hat is crazy. We out here in these streets. Use code Nick at Night to save yourself 10% off all those DIY Detail Co products. And have an amazing day. Happy detailing.